Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And today we're gonna talk about what kindness can do. Kindness can transform life. Sometimes we underestimate the act of kindness because we think, oh, this is quite very small, and this is something, if because it costs nothing. It doesn't cost a single penny to be kind to someone, but it creates a ripple effect, and not only to the other person to whom you're offering the kindness, but it also gives you a kind of a satisfaction, the ultimate satisfaction that you feel good about. So it has a lots and lots of benefits, and it can really transform lives. And that's why, like, I have invited one of our esteemed guests. His name is Kevin Smith. He is a former Fortune 500 executive and top-ranked wealth advisor who made a radical shift from chasing success to creating significance. After a chance encounter with a good Smartian returning with his lost wallet, Kevin's life took a profound turn, inspiring him to launch kindness worldwide. And today he's with us and he's going to share his story himself. So, welcome, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's truly a pleasure to be here. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I was looking forward to this conversation because you're doing so many good things, and I wanted like our audience to know that how simple act of kindness can actually bring change in the world. So, first of all, tell us that how you got into this.
Simply fate and circumstances intervened on Good Friday morning, 2023. I was a beneficiary of an act of kindness.
Mhm.
And essentially, I lost my wallet after a routine trip to the grocery store. And when I returned home, I was in a state of panic, realized I left it behind. And in that
Mhm.
moment, a young woman magically appeared like an angel out of heaven, holding my wallet, asked if it was mine. And I simply, in an endeavor to simply thank her in a more meaningful way, I did thank her at the time, but I didn't feel I did enough. She literally went the extra mile for me, went above and beyond to return my lost wallet immediately the moment she found it without any hesitation. And a mere thank you didn't seem enough. And from that point on, in an innocent desire to thank her in a more meaningful way, it evolved into something so much more. It actually took on a life of its own and actually became about making a meaningful difference. And it inspired me ultimately after a subsequent series of chain of events and so many coincidences you wouldn't believe. It inspired me to form the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide, which has a
Mhm.
vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. It's not a pipe dream. There's actually a path. There's multiple ways of doing that. We formally recognize kindness through Kindness Week Worldwide, which is our signature initiative. That's a movement that's spreading to communities throughout the world. We can use sports and fashion and music, artistic creation to bring people and communities together. So there's multiple ways of doing that. But honestly, it's the best way I can describe it is an indescribable adventure of a lifetime that continues to this day. There is a brief video that perhaps might show some of the background, provide some context as to what happened and where this movement is going and how big it's shaping up to be. That might be helpful for some context.
Okay, I think yeah, it's a wonderful video. So let's our audience watch. Oops, sorry.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Can a random act of kindness spawn a worldwide movement? Yes, it can. When a wallet was returned just moments after it was lost, a purpose was found. This one act of kindness inspired the formation of the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide, with a vision to inspire a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Our signature initiative, Kindness Week Worldwide, launched in York, Pennsylvania, saw the entire community mobilized to celebrate kindness in many forms. Kindness Week featured initiatives and playbook programs, including blood drives, kindness cards, K-12 and college students embracing kindness, acts of service and charity, as well as an innovative means of community policing, kindness citations. York Police Commissioner Michael Muldrow personally took to the streets in search of York citizens helping each other through kindness.
It's time to kick off Kindness Week. We're going to be writing citations, but we're going to be writing citations for the good stuff that people are seeing around the communities. Everything that you do for this community is important, it's impactful, and it's necessary. And I just want you to know that you're appreciated. So you had to be the first person to be issued a kindness citation.
Appreciate it, for real.
This movement that was inspired by a single act of kindness has begun to spread through communities all across our nation and led us to the World Kindness Movement 11th General Assembly in Palermo, Italy, where delegates from 40 nations across the globe came together, unified in their call to action to government officials worldwide and the United Nations to embrace our vision of creating a worldwide culture of kindness. From Pennsylvania to Maryland and California, to Greece, Australia, and beyond, the movement has already begun. We invite you to join this powerful and important movement inspired by kindness worldwide.
We have weeks, even months, to celebrate broadly many things. Why not the same for kindness? So I call on and welcome every elected official, mayor, commissioner, supervisor, chancellor, governor, prime minister, and president of every community, state, province, region, and country in the world to do it. Let's elevate kindness to the global shared value that represents all of humanity. I also urge the United Nations to show its leadership and support. Despite our differences, can't every member nation at least agree on the need for humanity to stand on a shared platform that connects us? Kindness is that platform. So vote. It's one unanimous vote our world expects. There's no reason not to, and every reason we must. One kind act, followed by another, one person, and one community at a time. That's how we change the world, and that's the vision of kindness worldwide. So let's strive to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people, in each and every moment, in each and every interaction, in each and every day. If we do, our world will be forever changed. As we do, be mindful and grateful. Let's use the power we possess to be the change we wish to see in the world. Together, let's change the world.
Amazing. That's really, the work is truly inspiring. That video really sums up all what you do, but it's truly amazing. Well done. I mean, I'm really impressed, and I'm sure that our listeners and the audience must be really, it really, this video must have touched their heart as well. So whatever you do for the sake of kindness is really, really important. I think this is what world needs at this moment right now. So yeah, that's amazing.
Well, thank you. Every time I see that video replayed, I can't help but get emotional
Yes.
because it just reminds me of the journey it has been since this act of kindness occurred. But also, this story isn't over. It's really just beginning. And this is not my story. I've always said Kindness Worldwide is not my nonprofit. It's ours. It's not my story. It's ours. Because we're all going to be writing the future chapters of this beautiful story together. And I'm convinced it'll be the most beautiful yet. But this one act of kindness, it changed my life in two ways. It changed my paradigm of the world, and it gave me a renewed sense of purpose. And I think for a number of reasons, without me even realizing it, I'd be watching the news, and most of the news is predominantly negative. And it can condition us and change our perception of the way the world is very different than how we perceive it to be. And the reality of it is there's good and kindness everywhere. We just need to open our eyes to see it. Yes, bad things happen. It's still the exception, not the norm, but good and kindness is everywhere. So I always say, see the good. It opened my eyes to see the good again after being conditioned to kind of see the world through a lens that's half empty. But the other way it changed my life, Ambreen, was, look, the bad that does happen, we can't deny it exists. I used to feel powerless to do anything about it. And I would point the finger at others, and there's a lot of finger pointing that can go around. But I realized that doesn't change anything. I can't control the actions of others. I can only control the actions of my own. So I looked in the mirror and pointed the finger at me. And I was a good person before Good Friday morning, 2023, but I'm a much better person today because of one act of kindness. And instead of focusing on what I can't control, I've directed my energies on what I can. And ironically, as things have evolved from this one moment of kindness, I actually no longer feel powerless to do anything about, that I can't do anything about it. I actually feel empowered that maybe I can, or if nothing else, I'm committed to try. And as this movement is growing, it's evolving, I think it reminds us all that we all have the ability to be that ripple to start a wave. We all have the ability within our control to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. It's my favorite quote by Karen Salmonson. Kindness is a choice. It's a conscious choice. And if we each individually strive to be the best versions of ourselves and be that reason someone believes in the goodness of people in each and every moment, each and every interaction, each and every day, we literally can be the change that we wish for, and we can be that ripple to start a wave. And that's how we change the world, one act of kindness at a time, one community at a time. And we can do it. I have no doubt in my mind, the theme in Palermo of the General Assembly was kindness will change the world. I would argue it already has and will continue to do so. And we are all collectively going to change the world together.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing goal. That's an amazing vision, actually, that yes, we all can. And if we all do our little part, I think we can bring about the change. But there is a lot of, I would say that a lot of people think that kindness is often seen to be a weakness, right? When people are too kind, that people take them for granted. And sometimes they actually misuse them, or sometimes. So how do you how do you suggest that one should behave in those circumstances when other people are taking advantage of them, or it is seen as a weakness?
Well, I would argue the weakness is being unkind. Again, there's a gap between perception and reality. The truth is that kindness is a strength, and I would argue it's a superpower. I believe that kindness represents the greatest source of untapped positive energy reserves on the planet. And all it takes us being aware of the power we each possess and choosing to be kind. And it is a strength because it's much easier to be unkind, to kind of resort to our impulses, to overreact, or to, sometimes when something happens to us, we instantly tend to react with unkindness instead of taking a pause, which we can control. And instead of receiving that negative energy from others, that's a choice whether we receive it or not. We can say, you know what, I'm not going to receive that negative energy. I'm going to convey positive energy. I'm going to choose my response in a way that's not going to escalate a situation. It's going to diffuse a situation. And when we approach something with love and kindness, only good things happen from that. Bad things happen when we respond from unkindness and reciprocate with other unkindness. So I believe in the law of attraction. I think positive energy begets more positive energy, as does negative energy. And we all agree, I think universally, that our world needs more kindness. I don't think there's anyone who would disagree with that. And I would also argue that of all the problems and challenges in the world today, they may seem numerous and the issues may seem complex, but the solutions are very, very simple. We simply need more kindness. And, I think all the problems in the world were caused by a lack of unkindness. I think all the problems in the world today can be solved with more kindness. And if we all collectively insist upon it and choose in our own behaviors, which we can control, to be more kind and show our strength, reveal our superpower, that's how we become the change we wish for.
Yes, that's a wonderful way to actually look at it. And I think, yes, I completely agree that it is a superpower. And in those circumstances, when we think that it is considered as weakness, when we show kindness, it can resolve. But I think, again, I would just say that it's not easy. It's definitely not easy to be kind. And what would you then advise, especially when people are unkind to you and then you have to be kind in that situation? Because I think I know that when there is a circumstances, when people are very harsh to you, they are mistreating you or maybe abusing you, how to be kind in those situations?
Well, it is very difficult, and I don't mean to imply that it's easy at times. And look, and I'm human, we all are, and we're all going to have
Yeah,
our off moments.
yeah.
But we can learn from how we respond, and we can choose how we respond. But I alluded to it earlier. I think when we are the recipient of unkindness,
Mhm.
we can choose whether we receive that negative energy and respond to it with negative energy, or take a pause, take a deep breath, and respond at least in a way that doesn't escalate a situation but diffuses
Yeah.
it. Because it's disarming when someone is unkind to us and we
Mhm.
respond with kindness, it disarms them. But if we respond with unkindness, it actually emboldens them and escalates. And that gets back to why kindness is a strength. But the greatest source of that strength is when we are receiving unkindness, it takes all the strength we've got to not respond in
Mhm.
kind, so to speak. But I don't think there's ever been a situation that got worse or escalated when you responded with kindness. It escalates when we respond in the opposite way. When we reciprocate unkindness with more unkindness, that's when things spiral out of control and bad things happen. We want good things to happen, and only good can happen when we respond with kindness.
Yes, and I think that also comes with kind of self-awareness and being aware of what's happening instead of just going with on a kind of an autopilot mode when we just like respond in an instinctual way, right? If somebody tells you some like abusive word or being an aggressive, if they start responding in a like normal way that that brings out the same response, then I think it will aggravate the situation. Instead, when they need to, as you say, that we need to just take a pause and see that how they can respond to it, and that changes the entire game, I think. And then they realize that I think there is something off. I think that's a human, I would just say, nature, that whatever is happening, they go with the flow or something. It's not the flow, they go with the routine. And that's how they become on kind of an autopilot mode, that okay, that's happening. It's just like they wake up in the morning, take shower, take a cup of tea, and then it's going on and on and on. It's just the same way. But something that that they need to break that kind of pattern and to see realize that okay, there's something off, then that means they need to change this. And I think that requires a bit of effort and being aware of it. And I think in that video you just mentioned at the end that we have to be mindful and be grateful for. I think that is, these two things can actually bring back kindness in this. What do you think?
I completely agree. I mean, self-awareness is key, and mindful kindness. I call it kindfulness,
Yes.
right? And making kindness top of mind in our daily lives and routines. It can become a habit if we focus on it. And but the little things are the big things. And just one of my goals and aims of this movement is that we elevate kindness to just everyday conversation, where there's so much kindness, everyone's talking about kindness, and that makes it mindful, top of mind. And then we
Yeah.
start realizing how we can be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Because to be honest, before this began, I was part of the problem because I would be watching the news too much. I'd be very frustrated. I would get angry at times about things happening in the world, and I'm like, "This is senseless. This doesn't need to be." And I would, look to others and see a failure when I think of leadership. I think people who need to do better in leading by example. And but that negative energy, being frustrated, doesn't solve anything. So I've learned from this experience that look, I can be better. I can do better. and I try to be better. And but it does take that conscious effort, and that self-awareness, and again also forgiveness. Because none of us are perfect, and we're all going to make mistakes from time to time, including me. But I think mistakes can be learning opportunities to just try to be better. And I'm the person I am today largely because of things in my upbringing, experience I've had over the years, and but also the mistakes I've made, and learning from them and just trying to be better every time. And we all have that ability within us, again, to be the change, to be the ripple, and you never realize the profound effects of what a simple act of kindness can do. And we each have the ability. I mean, one of the beauties of Kindness Worldwide is we can trace this original act of kindness. And we can see the ripple effects. We can see all the wonderful things that have happened. And I can even tell you a story. There's one life today was saved because of this act of kindness. There was someone ready to take their life, and they were inspired by the video on our homepage that's alive today. If that's all that ever happened because it's one act of kindness, it's more than enough. But we can trace it to one original act of kindness. But I would argue that each and every one of us, every day, does little acts of kindness that we might think are very little or very simple, but they have just the profound ripple effects, just the profound impact. We may not ever see that impact like we can with the story of Kindness Worldwide, but they're no less important, no less meaningful, and we each have that power within us to be that ripple to start a wave.
Yeah. And that's a very good comment by Ryan McShane, that kindness must also start with being kind to yourself, and then we can pour from that cup. Self-abuse doesn't typically result in kindness to others. That's really, really true, because if we are not kind to ourselves, we can never be kind to others. That's a very good point. Yeah. You just said that it's basically even in the leadership role, and you move from that leadership and corporate world to actually to lead this movement of kindness. So tell us a bit more about it, that why you left that and why you joined this exactly, because it's not easy, again, to actually leave these corporate environment and then do something for the good of the world.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share. Well, through my values, my upbringing, I've always believed that the meaning of life is to live it in a way to make a meaningful difference. And I've really applied that value system throughout my life and career. I began my career, as you mentioned, at a Fortune 500 company. I quickly rose the corporate ranks, and on paper, everything was great. But the further up the ladder I got, it wasn't as meaningful to me. It was a paper company. Paper is important, but not exactly going to change the world. I really enjoyed mentoring a team of people and bringing out the best in them. But the further up the ladder I got, just it wasn't as meaningful. And I had an epiphany in my early 30s that life's too short to not enjoy what you do. And so I changed careers. Over 20 years ago, I founded a wealth advisory practice, which is very meaningful to me, advising others and translating their monetary resources into meaningful life experiences. Whether it's educating their children or grandchildren, giving them promising futures, or retiring comfortably, endowing a meaningful legacy to causes that are important to them. That's very meaningful to me. So it's making a difference. But then when this act of kindness happened, innocently enough as it did, fate and circumstance intervened, and it just magically took on a life of its own. And there's nothing more meaningful, or it could be more gratifying than literally trying to change the world with kindness. And so I still have my day job / passion, so to speak. I have a wonderful team that does a great job there, and I'm very passionate about that. But every other waking moment and minute of every day, I'm literally spent on Kindness Worldwide and trying to build this global organization, bringing ambassadors and others into this who believe in something bigger than themselves, to make our world a better place. But when I get back to my value system, my why, so to speak, Kindness Worldwide is my legacy. It's not my legacy, it's ours, because we're doing this together. Together we can really do amazing things, but nothing more meaningful than literally trying to change the world with kindness.
Yes, that's amazing. And I think this again leads to, when you have the purpose, when you have those purpose linked with the value, I think then you feel more fulfilled. And I think that's exactly what you're doing. And it's amazing to have people like you to run these kind of movement to make this world a better place, because this is nowadays we see a big mess in the world everywhere, especially when you turn on the news channels. There's like a lot of things happening. It only gives us frustration, and it it gives us like a big of sadness that what's happening, why people are doing all these things. I think somebody has to do things, and I'm glad that you're taking this challenge to bring kindness and to make this world a better place. I'm definitely with you on this, that maybe we can do little things, just little acts can create a ripple effect. And we may not touch like maybe billions of lives, but even if we can change, or if we can bring impact to one or two people, I think that's even worth it.
I agree. Even if it's just one,
Yes.
that is worth it. It makes it all worthwhile. And
Yeah.
no, I'd like to say, look, I appreciate your heart space and all the wonderful work you're doing. And there's so many people that I've met that I never would have met otherwise were it not for this one act of kindness, that are doing wonderful things their own way to make our world a better place. So thank you for all that you're doing, and so many people that we want to shine a brighter light on, to give them a higher, bigger platform, because all together we shine a brighter light on the wonderful work we're doing individually, but collectively. But you touched on it. I'm convinced, because I've experienced it. With heart as the foundation and passion and purpose, there is no dream too big, no star beyond reach. And we literally can make the seemingly impossible possible, because those are a very powerful combination. I've lived it, I've experienced it. Obviously, you're bringing heart, passion, and purpose in your wonderful work. And when we surround ourselves with those type of positive people, that positive energy begets more of it, and we literally do have the impact of changing the world. There's a wonderful quote, one of my favorites. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt the ability never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And that is very, very true. It only takes a small number to actually make an impact. But then we bring others into our circle, it expands, and together we can do amazing, amazing things.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's one question Anika is asking, that what actions can public take? Majority is asking this now, that everyone wants to help, but what exactly is she's asking, that what actions we can take to bring kindness and to spread kindness?
Well, it's a great question. It all starts with ourselves. Again, choosing to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people with what we can control, which are our own actions, behaviors. As far as the global movement of kindness worldwide, our signature initiative is Kindness Week Worldwide. The vision is we want every community, we want every state, we want every country, we want every member nation of the United Nations to at least agree on the one thing that we can agree upon, which is our need for kindness. We want to formally recognize Kindness Week Worldwide and have that special week bring people together throughout the world to celebrate what I believe is humanity's greatest asset. So reach out to your local leaders, your mayors, your governors, because look, there's so much focus on what divides in this world.
Yeah.
And we've got to get away from the differences and focus on what unites. What is the one thing universally we all collectively agree we need more of, and that is kindness. Well, how do we get more kindness? How do we get something we all recognize we need more of? Well, you encourage it, you recognize it, you reward it, and you celebrate it. And that is what Kindness Week Worldwide is trying to do for at least one week out of the year, but then build mindful kindness habits and behaviors that then extend throughout the year. That's how we create a culture of kindness, not just locally in our own communities, but broadly throughout the world.
Yeah, amazing. I think that is very true. That like we get kindness, it starts from, like, let's say that it starts from within, and then we start spreading it. And as you said, that we need to, when we unite ourselves, when we actually join hands with others, with like-minded people, we can multiply the effect, and then again it creates a ripple effect. And like you said, that when we actually bring about all these like positive energy together, it creates a big ball of energy where that exudes energy. So I think that's a simple thing, that first we need to start with the self, and then we start spreading kindness, making people, bringing us on our side, and then creating a ripple effect. I think
You
there's
bet.
another way.
Kindness is
uh,
contagious, and
yes,
it's
yes.
a pandemic that we all want to catch.
Yes, yes. I think there's another very good comment. Kindness is quite its trend that uplifts other, a ripple of warmth in a cold world. It costs nothing, yet holds priceless power to heal, connect, and inspire. In every gentle word, compassion act, or shared smile, kindness remind us of our shared humanity and beauty of giving without expecting. That's beautifully said. Yes, completely agree.
Absolutely. Well, kindness is free, and in the business world, there's often a focus on ROI, return on investment, right?
Yes.
Um, there needs to be a focus on ROK, return on kindness, because kindness costs nothing, yet the benefits are infinitesimal. They're limitless. And
Mhm.
so, look, kindness increases productivity. It increases employee retention, employee morale. The benefits, the science of kindness are very profound, and it costs absolutely nothing. So I love that comment, and it's so well stated, and I appreciate that.
Yes, that's very true. Even that, as you said, that even in leadership, even in corporate world, it's like when we create a culture where people feel more, appreciated, because it's thing that other people are also kind. They feel motivated to work. They feel more, as you said, that they're more productive, and they feel more loyal. And that's what I think this is very important to have, to maintain, or this top management, or to top talent in the company. So I think, yes, that's very, very, very important. And
Absolutely.
so
ROI is ROK.
yes, that I love that term. This is ROK, because in business world it's always ROI. ROI. What is the return on investment? Like whatever. Like even when you spend $1 and then you said, okay, you'll be expecting. But I think when you spend, or when you behave kindly to anyone, it doesn't cost anything, and then the return is enormous. It's actually unbelievable. Uh, if we actually give this equation to all those corporate leaders, it is amazed to see that how much it can bring in terms of investment or monetary benefit as well. And that shows whether, like, I'm basically by profession, I'm also marketing research consultant. So I've seen it, like even those brands who actually bring kindness to their consumer, who treat gently their consumer, they become so loyal to the brand. I just want to share my experience, like, because when I used to work with one of the FMCG companies, where I was looking after the call center. And at call center, sometimes we used to get so many aggressive calls, and people used to, they wanted to just take some attention, and they didn't have anything. And it's basically they want to create a drama or something. But we used to running a call center like this is not easy. But I used to tell my team that, okay, they might be behaving aggressively, but when we start not responding in an aggressive way, we try to diffuse the situation. And then when we actually respond with kindness, sometimes we used to send our brand team to their houses with gifts, and they become so touched. And just we can actually make those consumers loyal to our brand. And they afterwards, like after years, they used to write to us that they are still loyal to our brands. So those one thing, small acts, change complete perception of people. And it happens in every field, in every industry. And the reason why I shared that example is that people often say that, okay, how can we implement marketing, kindness in marketing or something? But there are ways of doing this. You can, even if you make one consumer loyal to your brand, it's gonna impact, because that one consumer again creates a ripple effect. That creates word of mouth, and it spreads. So yeah. It's
Well,
amazing
that's
how
a
it works.
wonderful
So,
example. And what you described is also empathy, because sometimes we need to
yes,
put ourselves in the shoes or the minds of the other individual, and they may be experiencing traumas in their life or
yes,
circumstances that we may not understand, but that could be causing, it often is the cause of unkindness. And they simply want to be seen and understood as well. And so at the end of the day, I always say, see the good, but also every individual, I think, ultimately wants to be seen. Every human being wants to
yes,
feel understood. They want to feel valued, feel appreciated. And that takes empathy. That really takes, again, a strength to put ourselves in their situation. Instead of assuming the worst, assuming the
yes,
best in them, but something is obviously or likely has caused a trauma to cause them to be where they are in that situation. And when we can do that, when we can relate in that deeper level, again, that connection, that really can make all the world a difference.
yeah. This is a nowadays. In fact, recently there was also a study that if someone involves in the act of kindness, so it's kind of also reduces stress for both the people, like those who are actually performing the act of kindness and those who are at the receiver end. They've seen that there are like their cortisol level goes down, and then the improves of the oxytocin and all these, like feel good hormones go the and it gets uplifted. So I think it's also the internal physiology gets triggered by these act of kindness, and it creates the entire, I would say, not the internal physiology, but the also the with surrounding people feel good, you will feel good. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. So I think just doing simple act of kindness. But again, I would just say that a lot of people, even when do some act of kindness, they also expect that there's something good to happen. I think that here something we need to be very careful. Sometimes we need to not expect something to happen immediately because when the moment we start counting, oh my god, it's not happening, because then it's gonna, I think it goes wrong. We need to just be, we need to do good, but don't expect the return right after that, because our okay maybe takes time. What is your opinion on that?
I agree. Well, I think we need to think we, not me. We need to think
Yeah,
complete, not compete. We need to think win-win, not win-lose. And look, true kindness is doing something with no expectation of return. But the irony is, when you are kind and selfless, you get back multiples more than what you give. I mean, many people think of kindness in terms of the benefit to the receiver, but the science behind it and all the things you alluded to, the actual benefits are multiples more to the giver. And I often say this tongue in cheek, but I've often said being selfless is
yes,
one of the most selfish things we can do. In that, if you do things
yeah,
generally kind for others, it will come back. I mean, your longevity increases, your blood pressure improves, people live longer, and there's a science behind it. And so it's not just
yeah.
the right thing to do, which it is. It's actually the best thing you can do for your health and your well-being. So it comes back multiples
Yes.
more.
Yes, yes. I love that when you said that being selfless is really better for being selfish. So I mean, it's really amazing, and I really love the comment by Anika. She said that, like in the live session when you showed my comment and quote comment on the screen, I felt valued. So I mean, yes, these simple thing. It's something that you pointed out. I feel good also that I was appreciated by that. So that works for both ways, like you feel good, I feel good, so that's perfectly good. I think there's another comment. It's like this, Bhuktani: empathy isn't a buzzword, it's a strategic advantage. Empathy companies retain talent, boost productivity, foster innovation through understanding diverse need. Leaders like Microsoft, Google thrive on it. Empathy strengthens consumer trust, loyalty, directly impacting profit. Corporate can't afford to ignore empathy. They thrive when they embrace it. Perfectly, completely agree with you on that.
Wonderful comment.
And
And look,
yeah,
kindness is a win-win. With kindness, everybody wins. There are no losers when you lead
Yes.
with kindness.
Yeah. There's an also comment by, I think he was referring to this Geeta Bhuktani, that on a personal level, kindness cannot be taught. DEI failed because it created Jekyll and Hyde personalities without true change. It is very difficult to change. We are a reflection of our childhood or upbringing. What are your thoughts on it? Uh,
Well, I think there's something to be said by our external circumstances. Look, I believe every individual is born inherently good. I mean, think of the innocence of a child. A child knows no animus, it knows only joy, it knows only love. And I think, through external circumstances, the darkness kind of enters in. And we all have that to some degree, kind of empathy erosion over time. But I think ultimately, yes, we are shaped by circumstances in many cases, but we don't have to be defined by them. Even those who've gone through adversity in their lives, have responded in a way to still be kind and not let it define them, but let it refine them. But we do need to be aware. Look, everyone in their own way has their own circumstances, their own trauma, so to speak. That's where empathy comes into play. But I do truly believe that everyone, even those in the darkest of places and amongst us, there still has some good within them. And with kindness, we can kind of water the seeds and allow them to flower and blossom again. And so I think that's something we always want to keep in mind. But everyone, I think, is born inherently good.
I completely agree. I know that we can talk about it for hour and hour because it's such an important topic, and there's so much, like you're doing so much, so you can talk about it. And I love this topic. But we're running out of time. So what one piece of advice would you like to give to our audience to be more kind?
Well, the little things are the big things, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Kindness can be very simple. Simply looking at someone in their eyes and just calling them by name, and just greeting them with a smile and a hello. Be that reason someone else feels seen, and simply just calling them their name and a smile will bring out joy and make them feel valued, feel appreciated. So the little things are the big things, and just I get back to just that comment by Karen Salmonson, my favorite quote: "Be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people." And we all have that ability. We all have that power within us. It simply is a choice to do that or not. But if we all choose just that, to be that reason someone believes in the goodness of people, our world would instantly be changed. And we have that power within to do just that.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That it all again, it starts within. So we need to be the one who spread the kindness, take the responsibility, and we can do it. So I love that. And how people can reach out to you if they want to. What is the best way?
Well, I'd encourage everyone to visit our website, kindnessworldwide.org. There's resources, there's toolkits, there's actionable ideas to, be the ripple to bring more kindness into our communities and our world. We welcome everyone to join the movement with us. This is not my movement, it's our movement. We can do this together. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm very accessible there. And we have Facebook, social media pages, but I welcome everybody. We are all part of this story. The story and journey of kindness worldwide is far from over. It's only just beginning. And we are all going to write the future chapters of the story together, which I am convinced will be the most beautiful yet.
Yes. Thank you so much for what you're doing to bring kindness and the goodness to the world. And thanks to all the audience who joined us today and shared their comments, make this conversation more lively and with their comments. So thank you so much, and hope to see you again with the next session. So thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.